Hello, my friends, and welcome to a brand new episode of Discourse in Magic. My name is Jonah Babins, and yes, I get it, okay? I have been away. But that's because I've been busy planning a Mexico Summit, coming back, doing gigs. I've been doing a lot of writing, and to be honest, I have been stuck inside of a robot posting about a bunch of AI content. Okay, not really, but I've been obsessed with AI and using it for lots of ways, and that is part of what I want to talk about today. Today, I'm going to talk about the past, like what I've been up to, and specifically what I learned from bringing 40 magicians who are all crushing it to Mexico for a week. The present, specifically what it is that I am learning and doing right now on AI and why it's pretty important for you in your magic business and your magic in general, and the future. Not only what is upcoming, but also some places that I'm going to be over the next couple weeks and months, and that you and I can get a sparkling water together. How about that? Okay. Let's start with the past. As many of you know, I just got back from the summit that I held in Mexico, and I'll give you some context for this. Every single year, all of the members of the mastermind are invited to our summit. The first 2 years it happened in Toronto, but then I was like, what the heck? Let's do it somewhere tropical. So last year and this year, they both happened at the same beautiful resort in Cancun in Mexico, and it was amazing. The energy was great, the jamming was great, the business was great, the food and the swimming and the fun, all of that was great. And to be honest, like for me, the coolest part was that a magic convention surrounded not by the tricks, had more jamming and more trick exchanging than ever. And what was so good about it is usually when you go to a magic convention, everyone's showing you these weird, complicated tricks that you would never do. We literally had an open session called Bangers, where everybody just shared their best tricks that they do, and we made a note of exactly what those were, so that if people want to be inspired by each other and the tricks that they're getting great reactions from, they can. We had another one all about everyday carry and people talking about the stuff that they do every single day. And we even had a drawing a name out of a hat show for the entire resort. We borrowed the theater from the resort. We walked around telling everyone there was a magic show. We put all the magicians' names in a giant sombrero, and I pulled about 4 or 5 names out of the hat, and those people on the spot had to come up and do a 5-minute act. It was rad. So the amount of magic that happened at a magic convention that was not based around the tricks was insane. But none of that is the lessons that I wanted to share that I learned from this convention. The first thing that I learned, which I am going to come back to a little bit shortly, is how important AI is in the magic business right now. Now, it's going to be a whole segment of this episode, so I'm not going to dive super deep into it. But all I'll say is that of the 9 different sessions, workshops, hands-on moments that happened during the summit, almost unanimously, the favorite one was going through exactly how to use AI. I made custom GPTs, which is basically ChatGPTs trained on specific tasks, one about how to write posts that go viral on social media, and one about different things to send to your past clients. And I gifted it to everybody, and people played and had a good time and learned and implemented live. So my biggest takeaway number 1 is how important AI is in not only your magic business, but your magic. And I'm going to talk more about that in a moment. But let's get to number 2. The second thing that I learned is how big of a part magic is of the magic business. Now, I know that sounds stupid because, obviously, right? But my motto has always been 2 things. Number 1, that you get better at magic by doing it, which is for sure true. And I've learned that from hundreds of interviews on this podcast. But number 1, that was like my initial motto. And number 2, when managing the mastermind, we basically said, hey, we don't work on the tricks. We just help you with the business. That's helped a lot of people grow, but it's also put some people in a weird position where their business is crushing it and their magic is fine or okay. And again, we brought everybody together to share magic and to share tricks. And one of the things that became so important is how important I need to make it as a responsibility to actually teach magic. Now, I ain't going to be teaching tricks and double lifts and things like that, but teaching how to write jokes and rhythm and effect selection and pacing. And, it's one of those things where I was honestly nervous because I was like, hey, who can say that I'm good at this or an expert at this? I can at least point to something with the numbers in a business and show that I'm good at that. But there's so many amazing magicians out there, and that is true. And there's plenty of amazing magicians better than I am. However, I think that it was an oversight for me to not make this a huge part of the mastermind. So now in the mastermind, we work on 4 things. We work on leads, getting people into the business. We work on sales, converting those people to hiring you for an amount of money that you are happy with. We work on systems, so things like hiring and tech and AI and CRMs and things like that. And we work on the magic. How to make your close-up magic stronger, how to make your stage magic stronger, how to make them funnier, blocking, all of the different things that make a big impact in your magic. That's thing number 2 I learned, is that I need to make magic a core focus of the mastermind, because we got people that are legends at magic and we got people that are good that could easily be legends because they're doing 150 corporate shows a year. So it's time to tighten up some things and become epic. So that was really exciting, and people's shows are already improving. And then number 3, this is the biggest thing that I learned from Summit, which is that we are better together. Here's what I mean. When you think about all of the different ways that you could get help in your magic business, you could hire an employee, you could get a coach to tell you what to do, you could ask your friend, you could get a whole bunch of people and challenge each other to do it together. Google or AI, a bunch of strategies. There's a lot of things that you could do. But what's so amazing about the mastermind, it was just so cool to see it viscerally in person, is that we do all of that. We have a team of people to help you implement things. We've got me coaching you through what is currently working right now in the world of magic. There is each other to bounce ideas off of. There's cohorts of people all doing the same thing together. We make it pretty hard not to win. And that's why we've got such amazing, amazing results from members of the mastermind and people that stay with us for years, because there just is no better place for 6-figure magicians on the planet. And it is so cool to see everybody working together in tandem, helping each other grow. So I say this for 2 reasons. The first is, if you're doing over 20, 25K a year and you want help scaling, there is nothing better on the planet than the mastermind to help you do that. I stand by that, and all of the members stand by that as well. But the second thing that I would say is, if either you can't afford the mastermind, or you hate me for some reason and you're still listening to this podcast, or it's not for you, or whatever, then get a band of people together, man. You gotta help each other. Going at this alone and inventing how to do sales completely on your own, when there is decades and decades of sales writing and training and methodology out there, you're just making your life harder on yourself. Okay, so get help and get a group of people together that can help you do the thing that you're trying to do. If it's scale a magic business to 100, 150, 200, 250, I might be the guy to help. If it's something different, then get a band of people together that can help you do that. I think back to the episode with David Gerard, where he's talking about basically the 5 friends that all of his magic goes through. Ben Seidman and Colin Cloud and a few other people, who basically all of his magic, they all get to see it and give notes. So the result, what they're seeing on stage, is from a committee of awesome magicians who are crushing it. So those are the 3 things that I learned from Summit. I also learned that I need more sunscreen than I have ever thought before. And those are my lessons from Summit. Let's talk about right now. What is going on right now? And I will tell you what is going on right now. The answer is artificial intelligence, okay? I have been absolutely obsessed with using AI for everything, and also learning how specifically to use it better. If you've been following along with my emails or my posts on Instagram at Discourse and Magic, you know that I have been teaching some tips and tricks and strategies for exactly how to use AI and the ways that I use it. So I'm going to walk you through those tips and tricks and strategies right now. There's 4 things. The first 3 are awesome, and the 4th is a warning. So thing number 1 is you've got to use AI every single day. Go into your browser, whether you're using Chrome or Safari, and when you open up a new page, make that auto open up ChatGPT. If you want to use Gemini or a different form of AI or whatever, totally welcome to do that. But you need to be using AI first, because it's going to make you think faster, work better, get better results, everything. I have, written proposals that got me booked. I have made full landing pages that rank on Google in like 10, 15 minutes. I've written jokes for a fundraiser show. I redid my LinkedIn bio. I wrote sponsorship emails that convinced the client to book me. There's members of the mastermind that used AI to help them rewrite the closing of their show for a custom event that got a standing ovation. The time is officially now for you to be using AI, and the easiest way to do it is, instead of reminding yourself, crap, I should have done this with AI or this or that, make the first page that you open when you open a new tab on your computer, bring up ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity or any of the other AI platforms. The best, by the way, if you're wondering which platform should I use, the best answer is this. Whether you drive to dinner in a Ferrari or a Miata or a Honda, it will get you to the same destination. So some are better at some things than others, that is for sure. But if you and I are going to dinner and you take a Ferrari and I take a Honda, we're both going to the same destination much faster than walking. Okay, that's my tip number 1 about AI. My tip number 2 about AI is how to use it. If you give it shitty requests, then you're going to get shitty results. So here's a format for how to ask for something. So what you don't say is, write me a bio. Then it doesn't know anything. It doesn't know who you are. It doesn't have information about you. It doesn't have anything like that. It doesn't know how you want it to be written, what the bio is for. So instead, when you're using AI, you're going to follow a format, and the format is role, request, context, format. Role, request, context, format. So role is who they are. For example, you're a copywriter, or you're a web designer, or you're a whatever. Request is the details of the things that you want their help with. The context is any things that they need to know to make that for you. And then the format is how you want it. Do you want to be given multiple options? Do you want it in a chart? What outline do you want it? So for example, instead of saying, write me a bio for my website, you can say, role, you're a seasoned copywriter for live entertainment websites. Request, rewrite this boring bio to make it fun and sharp. I want to mention my accolades without making it read like I'm bragging. Please write it in third person. Context, I'm a comedy magician based in Toronto who performs at corporate events. Format, give me 3 options, no more than 100 words each. So now you're actually teaching it what it is you need to do. So if you used a little bit of AI, it didn't really give you a great answer, sounded a bit weird and robotic, that's totally cool. I want you to use this format, role, request, context, format, and you're going to have an amazing time. Friends, I hope you feel like I'm making up for lost time with this episode, because I'm giving you some bangers. That is for sure. Okay, let's talk about tip number 3 with ChatGPT before we get to the scary thing. So tip number 3 with ChatGPT is that there are ways to make it learn about you, and the more it learns about you, the better the output is. For example, I don't have to keep telling mine that I am a corporate magician based in Toronto. It knows that. So when it's writing a bio for me or helping me edit a website or a speech or something, it knows from what context I'm coming from. So there's 3 ways that you can teach your ChatGPT about you and who you are and give it some memory about you. Number 1 is memory. The more you use it, the more it knows about you, and it records certain things in its memory. It also refers back to previous conversations. So just like a beautiful leather card to wallet, the more you use it, the better it is. That's thing number 1 is memory. Thing number 2 is customize. You can actually go into a tab in your settings in ChatGPT called custom instructions, and there's 2 regions. One region to tell it all about you, and one region to tell it how you want it to be. And if you fill both of those things in, then it's going to give you better responses and better information because it knows what you want, it knows more information about you, and you've told it that you want it to act like this and not like that. The third thing is called custom GPTs, which is different than customizing. Custom GPTs is a thing I talked about a little bit earlier, about the AI session at Summit. And what this is you can train a specific AI to do a specific task. So for example, I trained a specific AI to help me write longer virally posts that explode on Facebook or LinkedIn. And I trained it to do that. I went through hundreds of iterations. I gave it data of the favorite long posts I've ever done that have blown up. We tore them apart, put them back together, and I trained it over time for how to do that. So now, whenever I have to write a post, a longer post that I want to blow up, I use that. And whenever other mastermind members want to write it, I can send them the link to that custom GPT. So there are 3 ways you can customize your ChatGPT. I recommend you do all of them, but play a little bit and play more and play more. Number 1 is memory. Number 2 is customizing, which is in the settings. And then number 3 is a custom GPT. I know people are wondering, should you pay for ChatGPT? I will tell you this. Some of these things I've described come with a paid plan. Some don't. To be honest, I don't really know. And the reason why is it is the best $20 a month that I spend, hands down, no questions asked. So those are 3 tips all about using AI in your magic business. But I want to give you the bad news that comes with this as well. The bad news is that with a giant, amazing, epic revolution comes major changes. Like, what it must have felt like to be a horse when cars were invented. You're like, what the heck? I'm losing my job. Well, the same thing is going on with AI. A lot of magicians get a lot of their bookings from things like SEO, showing up on Google, or ads, like Google ads, paying to show up on Google. And, Gary Vee has, drilled this into us if you ever listen to him. And he says that, if something is working, then, do as much of it as you possibly can right now, because at some point it will not work as well. And I believe that that is about to be true for Google Ads and for SEO. And what that means is 2 things. Number 1, there's a whole new field called AIO, which is AI optimization. So making sure your information comes up early when someone is looking for a magician in your area that you are using AI. But the second thing is that what is about to be more important than it ever has been is brand. I basically mean how people think about you, how they know you, and the content that you create before they ever think about hiring you. This was something that I have swept under the rug for a very long time, and now it has become a number 1 priority for me in my business. And really, the message about this that I want to share goes back to what I said about magicians working together. Oh my goodness, being in a community of 50-something magicians who are all helping each other through this time is going to get us on top the fastest, faster than anybody, crushing all of the new ways to grow the business, whether that's AI SEO, or cold email, because all of a sudden people's emails are open, or you can do it more with AI, or brand, or whatever it is. Being a part of a community that can help you do that, aka the mastermind, or another community, if you got one, go for it, really makes going through the hard times or the challenging times or the unique times a lot more fun and a lot easier and a lot faster. So I told you about the past, the summit, how amazing it was. We talked about the present, my current obsession, which is using AI in magic and in the magic business. Let's talk about the future. I'm going to be in a couple of cities over the course of the next 2 months. I'm going to say them right now where I'm going to be. If you happen to be in any of those places, I would love if you sent me a message either on Instagram, or you can send me an email to magic@torontomagiccompany.com. Send me an email or message me on Instagram or whatever, message me anywhere. And I would love to meet up. You would not believe the lengths that I will go to meet up with a magician who wants to say hello and split a sparkling water. Well, we don't have to split it. We can each get our own. But here is where I'm going to be. On May 27th to 30th, I am going to be in LA, visiting a mastermind member, having a good old time. In June, from the 8th to the 11th, I'm going to be in Chicago, visiting another mastermind member. Also in June, from the 23rd of June to the 26th, I'm going to be in Philly, meeting up with another amazing mastermind member. That takes us all the way to June. And in July, I am going all the way to FISM in Torino to really hopefully win the podcast award. So if you haven't voted for me, please vote for me. Otherwise, I will be a very, very sad boy. But I'll have a good time anyways. And then after Italy, I'm going to Israel for a few days. And then that takes us to the end of July, maybe in Vancouver in August. And I think that's it. That's all the upcoming events that you can come and say hi to. So if you live in one of those cities, if you live in LA, or if you live in Chicago, or if you live in Philly, or if you live in Torino or Israel, now is the time to holler at me so I can come and split a sparkling water with you. That is my update for now. There's some amazing episodes coming your way soon, including one that I recorded on someone else's podcast. I'm just going to give it to you guys here because you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you liked the episode. I hope you learned something, and I will see you next Thursday. Ciao.